15日目がはいはい。ゆりちゃんに渡してね。で、16日目がだって。
かりんちょっと携帯借りていい
？16日目が今日の
かりんができるよ。だって何も。うん、いい。そしたらごめん、かりん、設定を設定。設定のインターネット共有見せて。
俺明日だよ。
今日。
なんかうち合わせ注意。
見ちゃないし、なんかちょっとよくわかんない。16日目出してね。14位の回ね。13は14がゆいちゃんの13が7ちゃん。13？わかんなかった。こっちに。
もう美味しくないんだよね。
意外とそうなんですね。しけって待って、9日出して。
うん。限界まで食べる。
ちょっとモニカ先生が打ち合わせ中なので終わり次第始めます。ちょっと10分ぐらいおつかもしれない。もうすでに5分してるけど。こっち来る。ちょっと3人ぐらい、4人ぐらい行くのに4人ぐらい行くのに大工まで何しようよ、何しよう机を同じように出来上がりに作ってもらって
待って、これ閉じ込められてる。これ。
いいよ、すごいです。で、もう一個にここに並べる。森田先生。はい。このプロジェクターの。
5人にさ、ゆいちゃんのポップコーン姿見られてる。
そういうこと。
こっから。ほら、ライブだもん。
何入ってる？
誰か知らないけど。
面白いね。
面白くないよ。
面白いね。
よかった。大丈夫、5人しか見てない。誰か知らない。
誰かな。
ここで見て。あ、6人。
6人増えた。よかったよかった。
見れないわ
増えた。
消しちゃったりとかもじっとしとく。
見れない。
見れない。
やばいはずい。
じゃあもう
虫になる。絶対真顔で食べてたもん。めっちゃうまそうに食べてた。実況してるんだけど。
はい。
お茶飲もう。
あ Und den Projektor. Ja.
Ja, hat er aufgemacht, genau. Da ist die Technik drin. Ich gehe noch mal schneller suchen.
わかる？言っちゃっても。わかんない。
プロジェクト使うならこの棚の中だよ。で開けたら消えた。わかりません。
コミュニケーション問題があった。
スピーチだから今生徒を探してる。
それは
明日は大阪。
プロジェクター？We don't know. Yeah.
何これ？何これ？
この5人だけだと聞いてる。そんな喜ばなくていい。で、もう今日リハーサルみたいなもんだよ。
歌詞にした。
In der Projektor das Bild drin einfach.
Wie nicht jeder Lehrer wissen kann, wie der funktioniert.
Aber ja, das ist ja recht.
Dominic, do you know? Projector.
Ähnlich, das ist unser IT bei uns, so weiß alles.
Ja, da holen gerade bleib hier. Sonst holen 50 Leute und dann sind hier 50 Leute und trotzdem du. Ich weiß ja nicht, wer jetzt geholt wird.
Handy verkehrt. Wenn jemand holt, dann immer ein Handy.
Warum weiß nicht jeder, der auf der Nummer funktioniert?
Es gab eine Ausbildung, die ist dann geändert, dass keiner versteht, wie irgendwas funktioniert.
OK、確か。やめよう、もう始めよう。時間持ってないから。じゃあ、このままいきます。じゃあ、sorry, excuse me. Come here. Sit here. You got it. Cool. You're famous. Thank you. Come here.
Ah, ja,
So.
Meister. Also wir wollen
Ja.
Projekte.
Ja. Hallo zusammen, guten Tag. Ich gucke jetzt schnell ganz flink. Und das ist so.
Das ist Fake-Stand.
Okay.
Sound auch?
Stand ist cool.
Ah, nee. Sound.
Nee, okay.
Oder ja, nein. Die Karte ist im Schrank.
Ja.
Ah, ja.
Das willst du.
Tableの下にいるよ、テーブルの下に。
Eingangsquelle gefunden.
Weil ja noch keine Eingangsquelle da ist. Die ist ja nicht angeschlossen. Also kann der auch keine finden.
Ja, das meine ich ja.
Das ist ja das Ding.
So, okay.
Können auch einen Flammenwerfer anschließen.
Ist gut.
Was?
Ja, das ist ja einfach.
Anschließend?
Ja. Vielleicht können wir das vielleicht auch nicht so vor mit 10 gekommen, wenn wir damit zurück.
Ich bin schon ein bisschen älter als du.
Ich sag alle noch Jungstunde.
Wie?
16 Grad, 16 Grad.
Genau.
Ich bin nicht gut in Einschätzung. Also ich werde 20 in 3 Wochen. Morgen in 3 Wochen werde ich 20. Da habe ich schon noch ein paar mehr Lebensjahre auf dem Buckel.
Der vorträglich Geburtstagswünsche und wir haben Gymnasium.
Naja, Gymnasium ist dann nicht. Bei uns ist eigentlich nur Gymnasium.
Aber trotzdem nur was im Gymnasium.
Gibt es ja noch Hauptschulen?
Muss ich nochmal hinter.
Ja, klar.
Ja, klar.
Was ist denn beigebracht? Das ist auch wieder eine Bande. Warum?
Oh, very good. Dankeschön.
Ja, bitteschön.
Inside a small bank.
I think it's not nein.
Aber das ist ja hier.
Wir haben eine sehr viele Gemeinschaften.
こうしたら涼しいね、多分ね。こっち向こうの。
Hauptschule der ersten.
はい、入ってもらいましょう。
Das ist auch hier, aber das braucht er ja nicht. Das soll, kann auch das geht ja bloß jetzt hier.
Ja.
Das ist
okay?
Everything.
Nee, das ist glaube ich eine Oberschule. Ja, ja, genau.
Komm mal. Jetzt wissen wir ja, wo das ist.
Und wir haben
Thank you.
gesamt
Gesamtes G13.
Dankeschön.
Viel Spaß.
Danke.
Und die Kabel tust du dann einfach wieder in den Schrank reinlegen, bitte?
Ja.
Das ist das Einfachste.
Ja.
Weil die kommen ja dann auch irgendwann, wenn noch heute Mittagessen ist oder sowas.
Ja, ja. Was?
Das ist so am Rand dann nicht.
Wie bitte?
Pico sieht man nicht auf dem Video.
Hast du das auf dem Handy?
Ja.
Das ist das Kamel.
どうしようか。こっちに来ようか。うん。OK。誰から行く ？OK、カリンから。
Das macht voll Sinn. Aber das Sehr gut. Das ist voll smart.
Beides. Oder du kannst dich gerne in den Schoß setzen. Toll.
Damina.ちょっと今から名前をね、一人目仮んだけど、コナミ、大輝、セス、
10.19 Uhr.
ユイ、今呼ばれてないと。その2人だけドイツ語訳終わってないので、その2人を最後の2人にして、あとは誰でもいいです。順番手挙げてもらっていいです。はい。
Wir reden, musst du auch reden und machen sowas.
Thank you. じゃあ、はいはい。マイクない。頑張って。頑張って、大きな声喋ってね。一回座って、一回座って。はい。自分の授業のこっちだよ。テク、こっち来てもらって、映ってるか。OK、皆さんこんにちは。
Hallo, alles zusammen.
今日は、皆さんは日本語の、教室に来てくれてありがとうございます。今日は日本語を勉強しましょう。
Vielen Dank, dass ihr heute zu unserer Japanischstunde gekommen seid. Wir üben jetzt alle zusammen Japanisch.
すみません、これは冗談です。私はジョークを80%ぐらい言っています。
Das war ein Witz. 80% von dem, was ich sage, stimmt nicht.
これから、福島の高校生たちがスピーチをするので、ぜひ聞いてください。
Die Schüler aus Fukushima werden jetzt ihre Berichte machen und ich freue mich, dass ihr hier anwesend seid.
福島は14年前に原子力発電所の事故が起きて、外で遊べなくなったり、放射能が降って差別を受けたり、すごく苦しんだ時期が数年間ありました。
In Fukushima gab es vor 14 Jahren ein großes Unglück in einem Atomkraftwerk und danach konnten die Menschen und die Kinder nicht draußen spielen, sie konnten nicht in den Park gehen und mussten die ganze Zeit in geschlossenen Räumen aufhalten und haben viele Jahre eine sehr schwere Zeit durchgemacht.
その時彼らは1歳とか2歳だったので、ほとんど記憶にないですけど、いろんな人から、お父さんとかお母さんから話を聞いて、レポートを書いてもらいました。
Die Schüler, die jetzt hier sind, waren zu dem Zeitpunkt 1 oder 2 Jahre alt. Sie können sich also kaum daran erinnern. Sie haben aber von ihren Familien und von den Eltern viel über diese Zeit gehört.
アースオーカーズでは福島の子どもたちの支援を14年間で1700人以上の子どもたちのサポートをしてきました。
Unsere Organisation mit dem Namen Earthwalkers unterstützt seit 14 Jahren die Kinder aus Fukushima und hat bisher ungefähr 1500 Kinder in Erholungscamps geschickt.
今年は第二次世界大戦が終わってちょうど80年目になるという節目の年なので、初めて広島の高校生が1人上院して、福島と広島の高校生がこれからスピーチをします。
Da dieses Jahr das 80-jährige Ende des Zweiten Weltkriegs ist, ist dieses Jahr auch ein Schüler aus Hiroshima dabei und jetzt werden die Schüler aus Fukushima und der Schüler aus Hiroshima mit ihren Berichten beginnen.
広島では核が戦争の武器として人を殺すために使われました。
In Hiroshima wurde die nukleare Energie als Waffe eingesetzt, und als Atombombe und viele Menschen sind gestorben.
福島では平和利用ということで電気に使われていましたけど、事故が起きたことによってすごい大きな負担を強いられました。
In Fukushima wurde die Atomenergie friedlich genutzt, aber auch die friedliche Nutzung hat gezeigt, dass sie sehr gefährlich ist und viele Menschen sind dadurch zu Schaden gekommen.
原子力発電所のこれからの利用に関してはいろんな意見があるので、日本でも答えがまだ見つかっていません。
Wie man die Atomenergie für die Menschheit in Zukunft nutzen kann, wird derzeit viel diskutiert und auch in Japan gibt es dafür keine klaren Antworten.
しかし、地震が多い日本で使っていいのか、津波がこれからも予想される日本で使っていいのかというのはすごく難しい問題。また、北朝鮮からもしミサイルが飛んできて原子力発電所を狙われたら、すごく甚大な被害が広がってしまいます。
Ich persönlich denke, dass es sehr gefährlich ist, Atomenergie in Japan weiter zu nutzen, wenn man bedenkt, dass Japan ein Land ist, wo sehr viele Erdbeben sind, wo Tsunamis auftreten und wir haben auch einen gefährlichen Nachbarn mit Nordkorea, wo viele ballistische Raketen getestet werden und es ist durchaus vorstellbar, dass die japanischen Atomkraftwerke zur Zielscheibe werden.
いろんなリスクが生じる中で、この原子力発電所の電気とか、この原子力爆弾の今高校生たちがどう考えるかというのを聞いてください。
In Ihren Berichten werden euch die Schüler jetzt ihre Gedanken über diese gefährliche Atomenergie und auch über die Atombombe mitteilen.
よろしくお願いします。
Wir beginnen jetzt mit dem Bericht.
じゃあ、誰がスピーチしますか？スピーチしたい人。じゃあ、どうぞ。吉田かりんさんからいきます。うん、いいよ。落ちてもらう。うん、ボタン押せどれか。最初に自己紹介ちょっとなんかちょっとパソコン出すまでやっといて。
Mein Name ist Karin. Es ist schön, Sie kennenzulernen.
英語でいいんじゃない？
英語でいいんだよ。
マイホビーとかでいいんじゃない？
My hobby is cooking.
OK、行きましょう。
いいですよね。
終わった後みんなからも質問があれば聞くので、全員8人終わった後にぜひ質問してください。
Wenn alle Schüler mit ihren Vorträgen und Berichten fertig sind, dann machen wir noch eine kleine Fragerunde. Also wenn ihr Fragen habt, dann könntet ihr euch bis zum Ende aufheben und dann könnt ihr gerne eine Frage stellen.
OK。
Hello everyone, my name is Karin. I have a question. Do you sorry. Do you have any memories from when you were 2 years old? Anyone? Oh, thank you. I do, because there was the era the great earthquake and the nuclear power plant accident happened. Today, I would sorry. Today, I would like to share my experiences at the time and afterwards with you. Even so, I clearly remember the day of the earthquake. I don't remember some things. I don't remember that a big earthquake happened. After that, the water shut off and the power went out. So many big shocks at once. That I may after that, my memory remains. During the day, we spent time at Grandpa's house, where the power was out. At night, we spent time at a relative's house, where there was water and electricity. At my relative's house, I was able to take a bath. At night, I could sleep with a meteor-light bulb on, as usual. It was reassuring to have even a faint light. But I was thinking that I was in a strange dream. The next day, the nuclear accident happened. However, when the nuclear accident happened, I was at my grandpa's house, where the power and the water supply were still cut off. We couldn't watch TV, only the radio. I didn't know what had happened. A few days later, I returned to my house, and my family also came back from the evacuation center. There were many hard things in my life after that. I was also came back to school. I was also scared of the frequent aftershocks and the emergency alarm that sounded every earthquake. Also, the loud voices of my family nearby telling me to hide under the table. Because of this, I could sleep. So, I could help but worry every day that something would happen. After the nuclear accident, I was forbidden from touching anything in nature because the radiation that falls on Fukushima has negative effects on the human body. So when I went out, I always had to wear long sleeves, long trousers, a mask, and a hat to avoid being exposed to radiation, which made it hard to move around. And I remember finding it especially hot in the summer, which I really hated. Also, my mother would severely scold me for even touching the soil, leaves, or flowers. I had a strong desire to be able to play freely in nature. So, I took part in historic excursion for children by arts workers many times. One of the most memorable experiences I had was planting rice when I was 6 years old. I went barefoot into the rice field and planted the rice with my bare hands. In Fukushima, we avoided touching the soil because of the radiation fallout. When I first touched the soil, I was surprised at the feeling. Imagine the rice field would be cold, but when I put my feet in, I was surprised at how warm it was. I remember feeling very strange because there were clumps of soil and parts. There were roots. It was hard to keep my balance. So I ended up falling on my bottom in the rice fields. At that moment, I thought my mother would be angry. She would usually scold me for falling on the ground because there was radiation in Fukushima. However, my mother did not get angry and just asked me, "Are you okay?" As for that project was a requesting anything experience for both my mother and me. What I could play outside freely without worrying about radiation. I went outside of Fukushima Prefecture with art workers for another project. I was able to practice riding a bicycle. It was not possible in Fukushima. I was very happy when I could ride a bike for the first time. I had many experiences with earth walkers. So, I want to do something for others. I would like to think about what I can continue to do and take action. Finally, I have a question about my time. Do you have any memories from when you were 3 days old? Anybody? Thank you. There are probably not many people who have memories of the time like I do. So I went to take care of this memory. Now that 14 years has passed since the earthquake. More and more people don't know what had happened when the earthquake took place. I would like to share with everyone what the situation was like at the time. Thank you for listening.
次誰行きますか？ゆう。ゆうり。はい。モニター出すまでは。
ちょっと待ってください。
だって一曲ぐらい
これ小さいから前に今日回っていいですかって言ってもらっていい？
Wir können uns näher kommen, meint er.
いつもらってる。いや、オッケーオッケー。
みんな大移動した。
オッケー。どう？ドイツ語の自己紹介してね、簡単に。
Guten Tag, mein Name ist Yuri. I live in Fukushima. I will start my speech now. Have you ever suddenly lost your daily life or a place where you play? I had an experience in a Great East Japan earthquake. I couldn't play outside freely, and many places to play were taken away. During that time, I joined a project called Koyo, which provided research excursions in radiation-free areas. Many people gave me smiles and courage. Kind words, kind eyes. The time we laughed together. Play in the snow, apple picking, rice planting, play in the sea. Being in nature was very special for me. I went to many prefectures. I experienced the variety of local culture and nature. I made many memories and met many people. The time has become a special pleasure. And what I remember the most is the volunteers. The older boys and girls who came as volunteers were always kind. They played with us a lot and we had fun together. When I was good during Koyo, when I felt lonely without my mom and dad, they stayed with Their kindness made me feel safe. I want to stay with them more. I want to talk with them more. I remember feeling very sad every time they said goodbye. They were very special to me, and I thought, I wanna be like them someday. When I became a junior high school student, that feeling turned into action. I became a volunteer for the restorative excursion program and started going on trip with the children. At first, it was difficult to switch from being a participant to a volunteer. There are many children in your program. They are nervous, shy, naughty, sometimes get in trouble. I talk a lot to shy children and tried to see them carefully. In that way, I became able to take action by myself. I learned what it means to. I learned so that every child can have fun and feel safe. Sometimes I was able to lead the group and make the whole atmosphere happy and bright. When our children saw me like that, they began to think of me as a reliable big sister. That became my greatest joy. I feel that I have slowly become like the volunteers I admired when I was a child participant. I used the experience I gained from volunteering. In my research class in junior high school, we worked on a project about Tomioka town in Futaba district, Fukushima prefecture. Before the earthquake, about 16,000 people live in Tomioka town. Because of the earthquake and the nuclear accident, the population has dropped a lot. Up now, about 2,000 people live there. The problem was the connection between people in the town was very weaker. I planned an event to help people in the town talk and spend time together. I joined the town event called the Community Interaction Cafe. Smiles and connection were made across generations. It was fun. I want to come again. The answer so through this experience. I realized even students' ideas can bring change to the community. I learned what it means to be rooted in the community. It was 14 years since the earthquake, but in Fukushima, the effects of the earthquake and the nuclear accident are still continuing, especially in Futaba district. Evacuation, orders, and the difficulty for residents to return. There are many problems. On the other hand, at the same time, recovery is slowly progressing. New buildings, well-maintained roads and facilities, and I have met many people who hope to live in Futaba again, and they work hard to make it happen. Fukushima is the sea, the mountains, the lakes. It has a lot of nature and the bonds between people. It is a place full of warmth. Fukushima is not just going back to how it was. It is trying to move in a new way, not forgetting the disaster, and telling others how people in the town talk and spend time together. I think it is an important thing we can do from now on. Now, I joined the Earth Workers project in Germany. When I was in elementary school, I was a member of their research program that supported me through nature experiences. Now, I am here as a person who shares these stories. Through this German project, I want to look at Fukushima again from outside. I want to learn how to express myself in my own words. By listening to my story, I don't wish for you to just feel sorry for me. The current situation of Fukushima is to charm the existence of wonderful places in Japan. I want to share them with the world. And in the future, I want to go to become a person who can share ideas and in any field.
次いただけますか。はい。じゃあ先にドイツ語で自己紹介してください。
Today, I'd like to talk about my opinion about the Great East Japan earthquake and Japanese renewable energy. Japan has many songs that were made with the Great East Japan earthquake in mind. I sang one of such songs in my school festival. The title is Gunjo. The Gunjo means the beautiful blue color of Fukushima Ocean. The song was made by a teacher who was working when the disaster happened. The song includes the students' feelings about the experience of the disaster. They got separated from their friends and their loved ones. When I listened to the song for the first time, I felt it was just beautiful. But as I learned the lyrics, I realized that it contained the earnest feelings of people my age. So it reminded me my own experience of the disaster. The song was about friends who got separated nationwide due to evacuation. The lyric is this: I'm sure we will meet again. Let's meet in our town. Our promise will never disappear. Blue bond. Let's meet in our blue town. The Great East Japan earthquake. The big earthquake brought serious damage. Earthquake, tsunami, power outage, nuclear accident. People are forced to evacuate because of the increasing radiation level, and the fight with the invisible radioactive substance continues even now. The other day, I heard a story of a woman who experienced a disaster near the nuclear power plant. She was a mother with 3 children. According to her story, the people who lived over 20 kilometers from the nuclear power plant couldn't get the compensation for evacuees from nuclear power plant accident. This created a disparity. People are stressed out and domestic violence happened a lot. Because of the nuclear power plant accident, a rumor that the people who lived near the disaster happened were dirty with radiation spread, and the evacuated children were bullied. Even though there was a dangerous level of radiation, the people who lived near the nuclear power plant didn't know about it. And she was evacuating with her children. She was afraid. Over 20,000 people died. I went to the place where the tsunami reached. There aren't any buildings or residents. And I had just heard sounds. I had such feeling. When I had my story, I thought the Japanese government should have given subsidies to the people who lost work, house, and family, no matter the distance from the nuclear power plant. Because of the nuclear power plant accident, Fukushima Prefecture increased solar and wind power. Also, I thought schools should teach students how to recognize information as true or false, like Germany. However, large areas of our forest are cut down to install solar panels. I often see such places. Because of this, a landslide happened. It's supposed to be an eco-friendly power generation method, but it is not easy. It sometimes has a bad effect on the environment. And conflict with residents sometimes happen and so on. In addition, recently, a wind power plant in dropped down and a man was crushed under it. For installing renewable energy, there are many problems. Japan's renewable energy percentage is only 20%. It's so low compared to abroad. Switching to renewable energy is not going well. I heard Germany's renewable energy percentage is high. I want to know how Germany switched to renewable energy. Thank you for listening.
次誰行きますか？誰？ゆい？
Guten Tag. My name is Yui. Hello everyone. My name is Yui. I'm very happy to be part of this program in Germany. Thank you for this opportunity. I have a dog, a miniature dachshund, a German dog. I'm proud to have a little bit of Germany at home. One of my hobbies is watching Japanese anime and Disney movies. I also try to watch movies in English with English subtitles. I'm excited to learn how Germany produces energy, especially from renewable sources. I learned that about 63% of Germany's electricity comes from renewable energy. While in Japan, it is only 23%. This big difference surprised me deeply. It made me realize how serious Germany is about protecting the environment. I want to understand how the renewable energy works and bring some ideas back to Japan. When the Great East Japan earthquake happened, I was only 1 year old, so I do not remember it. But I want to learn what really happened and what problems people faced. When I talked to my parents, they said it was a very painful experience for all of us. It was hard, but we survived. We stood strong. Houses were destroyed by the earthquake. Towns were washed away by the tsunami. After the nuclear accident, some people faced unfair treatment when they moved away. Imagine living in that situation. How would you feel? It is hard to even imagine. Still, parents protected their children with love, even though they faced many hardships, including restrictions from radiation and living away from home. This June, I visited a disaster-affected area in Fukushima. There were yellow signs with red letters saying, "Do not enter." The road continued, but we could not go further. The wind whispered through the tall grass. The air was heavy and quiet. No laughter, no voices, only silence. The silence made me feel very sad. I'm grateful for the kindness and support people have shown each other during these hard times. It was a moment I will never forget. My heart hurt deeply to see this. The road goes on, but we could not go on it. I realized I didn't really understand the real situation of the disaster. I often hear people say, Fukushima is recovering. In fact, some areas around the station are well maintained. Clean roads, new restaurants. If you only see this, it looks like everything is fine. But walk a little further. Empty houses, overgrown grass, no people. I wondered, has Fukushima really recovered? It has been 14 years since the earthquake. Now, even people in Fukushima do not know everything about it. To keep the memory of the disaster alive, I think it is important the generation to learn again and never forget. Visiting the disaster area made me ask, what is true recovery? How can we help? Not only Fukushima, but also the Earth. I believe taking action on climate change and energy is key to our future. Germany is not just talking about change, it is taking action on change. I believe we young people have the power to change our future, one step at a time. The opposite of love isn't hate or anger. It's indifference, not caring. The saddest thing after a disaster is being forgotten. Forgotten by the world. Forgotten by time. Forgotten by people. So I will remember. I will care. And I will act for Fukushima, for the Earth, and for our future. Let us remember. Let us care together. Let us move forward together. Dankeschön.
次いきますか。はい。大輝。じゃあドイツ語で自己紹介からどうぞ。
Guten Tag. My name is Taiki. Hello everyone. My name is Taiki Ono. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Fukushima, Japan. Please call me Taiki. I'm going to talk about the natural disaster. The Great East Japan earthquake happened when I was 1 year old. March 11th, 2011 changed the lives of many people in Japan. A great tsunami hit the coastal region of East Japan, and following the nuclear power plant accident, situation even worse. Have you ever heard the nuclear nuclear power plant accident? Okay, thanks. I want to share my thoughts on the difficulty of recovery from the natural disaster. My house is located 90 kilometers away from the site of the nuclear power plant accident. In Fukushima, there is a museum called the Earthquake and Nuclear Disaster Memorial Museum, located 5 kilometers from the accident site, to convey information about it. In the museum, there are many videos, photos, and detailed information from the time of the earthquake. I was very shocked to see the video of the tsunami, with cars and houses being swept away. There were exhibits of many road signs that changed shape due to the tsunami, and mailboxes that have been broken, still attached with concrete. I felt scared of the tsunami. I heard the story from the storyteller. She told the tale of the earthquake story with tears in her eyes. What I learned from the story is that since it was a disaster that had never occurred before, they might not have known what to do. And now, some parts of Futaba are still inaccessible. The area was still like a ghost town. No people, no rebuilt houses. Only signs warning people to stay out. And on the way back, I saw countless black bags filled with contaminated soil. 5 years after my first visit, I visited there again. There are places where the repairs are completed mixed with places that have not been repaired at all. Some places changed. Futaba station was reopened and the train was running again. But once I walked away from the station, many areas still looked abandoned. I thought it difficult to recover perfectly from the damage. Also, I learned from my grandfather, a fruits farmer, that he couldn't sell his fruits because of harmful rumors. That made me shocked. The peaches and apples he grows are very delicious, but at that time nobody bought them because they were from Fukushima. Children in Fukushima have taken the thyroid examination every year since the accident. We lie down on our bed, have cold gel applied to our necks, and taken an ultrasound for the examination. I have thought that it was something all children across Japan take. However, when I became a high school student, I learned the shocking fact that only children in Fukushima, where the nuclear accident occurred, were being taken the thyroid examination. That made me shocked. Thank you for listening.
いただけますか。涙携帯がしてる。テクいきます。テクいきます。
Guten Tag. Ich bin Teku Nishimura. Nice to meet you. Hello, thank you for being here today. My name is Teku Nishimura. I was born and raised in Hiroshima. Children in Hiroshima learn about peace from a young age. Every year on August 6th, the Memorial Day of the atomic bombing, we all go to school and observe a moment of silence together. I visited the atomic bomb dome and the Peace Memorial Museum many times. Fragments of buildings blown away by the bomb, torn up clothes, lunch boxes turned into charcoal. Actually seeing these things made me feel the horror of the atomic bomb. My great-grandmother is a hibakusha. Hibakusha refers to people who were exposed to radiation. She was only 19 years old at that time. She was working at Army warehouse as a military volunteer. 1945, August 6th. She heard a siren early morning and went outside the warehouse. At 8:15 a.m., in an instant, the warehouse was completely flattened by the blast of the bomb. She said if she had been inside, she wouldn't have survived. The warehouse was 7 kilometers away from the ground zero. However, the blast of the bomb reached the warehouse. It shows how powerful and destructive the bomb was. After that, she helped take care of people who have been burned or brought into an elementary school for treatment. Labels of different colors were placed on the victims, depending on how likely they were to survive. Those who were most likely to survive were treated first. But the medicine and bandages ran out quickly. So there was a limit to what they could do. I heard all these stories from my family, but I also vaguely remember her telling me is the story about the black rain. The black rain that fell after the bombing was filled with deadly radiation. People who were directly exposed suffered from acute radiation syndrome, such as hair loss, blood vomit, and developed leukemia. Some people desperately thirsty after the bombing believed that black rain was a blessing from the sky and drank it, only to lose their lives because of the radiation it contained. There were a large number of people who suffered the damage caused by the nuclear weapons. And there are people still suffering today. When I first started learning about peace, to be honest, the atomic bomb felt unreal to me. It was like a story from a distant past. But it turns out that I'm a fourth generation Hibakusha. This fact helped me better understand the true horror of the atomic bomb, as well as the deep mental trauma it left on the survivors. As a student from Hiroshima, I strongly feel that we must continue to carry these stories to the future generations and believe in a world without nuclear weapons. In the future, I hope to work in the sports industry, which plays an important role in Hiroshima's economy. Since I was little, I have played baseball, and sports have always been a part of my life. My father is working for the Hiroshima Toyo Card, a baseball team deeply rooted in our community. And that also inspired my interest. These experiences made me want to contribute to my hometown through sports. Hiroshima lost its urban functions as a result of atomic bomb. However, the founding of the baseball team gave the people of Hiroshima a ray of hope. What makes it more special is that the team was supported by the large corporations, but by the donations from the citizens. Currently, Hiroshima has grown as a sports powerhouse with many professional sports teams, such as football, basketball, and volleyball. In recent years, Hiroshima has been facing a serious issue. Many young people are leaving the prefecture. From 2021 to 2024, it had the highest number of people moving out somewhere in Japan for 4 consecutive years. As a result, we are seeing a decline in both spectators and participants in sports. In addition, several social issues have come to light, such as Asian sports facilities, delayed efforts toward gender equality and diversity, and the lack of proper infrastructure to support these challenges. As someone who has grown up with sports since childhood, it is heartbreaking to see the sports industry, which has walked alongside Hiroshima's recovery, now facing the risk of decline. I want to go to university to study topics such as regional revitalization, which are closely connected to my future. I hope to think deeply about what I can do for my hometown, which I truly love, and take action to help make it an even better place. I will continue to work hard toward that goal. Thank you for listening.
Guten Tag. My name is Nana. I would like to speak now. Have you ever lived a life like this? Split some firewood and heat up with hot water. And in the cold season, we warm ourselves by putting charcoal in the sunken kotatsu. Kotatsu. This is kotatsu. These are kotatsu, and this is ash. Kotatsu, a table heated from underneath in the living room. My grandfather made charcoal by cutting wood and burning it. He made a lock for us so we wouldn't be in trouble even after he passed away. We put charcoal in a big brazier and use it as a stove. We have a meal and spend time with our family at the sunken kotatsu, which is warmer than the electric kotatsu. For me, this is a normal way of life. But this might be unfamiliar for many people. So today, I would like to introduce my daily life. The way to use the sunken kotatsu is to place severe pieces of charcoal around the ash. When it gets too hot, cover it with some ash around it. On the other hand, when it gets cold, move the ash away to adjust the temperature. Electricity. The sunken kotatsu is warmer than the electric kotatsu. When we go out somewhere, we cover the charcoal with ash to avoid a fire breaking out. Also, the walls of my grandmother's house are made of mud plaster. The walls are made using a technique called takekonai. This is takekonai. In which bamboo is woven and then coated with clay to create a traditional woven construction. It has excellent ability. For example, It keeps house cool in summer and warm in winter. Recently, summer has been very hot, so I planted morning glories outside the window where the sunlight enters the room in order to relieve the heat. Furthermore, we use well water from a nearby mountain called the mystic forest. Of course, we can drink it. It is tastier than mineral water sold at convenience stores. We harvest rice cooked with well water is also excellent. We harvest rice and receive vegetables from our neighbors. We plant rice in May and receive it in October. When we can't use electricity, we put rice in a pressure cooker and cook it on a steaming charcoal stove. When we cook rice on the steaming, the rice gets a little burnt and crusty at the bottom and tastes great. Even if a disaster happens and the lifelines don't work, my grandmother's household is not affected at all. This is my grandmother's house. We can still take a bath and use the toilet. We have rice, so we won't have to worry about meals. However, as it gets dark, I have no choice but to sleep. Light. Nowadays, we can turn on the lights and stay up late. We can turn on the lights and work or watch TV even after it gets dark. But I think the idea of going to bed when it gets dark is healthy and wonderful. In today's society, people work late at night and stay up late. Maybe I think we are wasting electricity. Energy. The current global thinking is to change into renewable energy and to stop global warming. But I think if we use less electricity, we will need less renewable energy. If everyone lives like my grandmother's life, the electricity amount will be less. Also, I think the amount of electricity used would be less than the amount of electricity produced. Don't you think so? Electricity, light, energy. Do you think we really need the electricity we use too much every day? Thank you.
Guten Tag, ich bin Yukino. Ich bin 15 Jahre alt. I came from Fukushima in Japan. Please listen to my speech. I experienced the Great East Japan earthquake, but I was only 1 year old at the time, so I have no memories of it. This time, by participating in this project, I had the valuable experience of hearing my father's earthquake experience. Please listen to my father's earthquake experience. At
At the time of the earthquake, I was having a conversation with a client at my workplace. About a month before the earthquake, there was another quake, so I thought it would be similar in shaking. However, the tremors gradually became more intense. The shaking was so strong that it was impossible to walk straight. After the shaking, the emergency buzzer of my house. About 10 people nearby also had their buzzers go off simultaneously, and a sudden sense of tension swept through everyone. The company president told everyone to evacuate outside, but I went back to check the gas stove to ensure that a fire wouldn't start. Since I headed in the opposite direction of the evacuation, the people around me were surprised and asked, "Where are you going?" After checking the gas stove, I went outside. Items on the desk had fallen. The floor was so cluttered with scattered paper. There was hardly any space to step. Finally stepping outside, I noticed that asphalt road was cracked in several places. The manhole is sticking out about 30 centimeters above the asphalt, having broken through it. It was sticking out so much. My colleagues saw a news report on their cell phone saying, "Tsunami has arrived." I finally learned about the situation in my hometown. I never thought a tsunami would come to my town. On my way home, the road was filled with traffic congestion. Many roads were flooded by the tsunami. I took the road on the mountainside rather than the seaside. When I entered my town, the buildings throughout the area had been destroyed by the tsunami, and it was covered with debris and mud. Because of that, the road leading to my house was also closed to traffic. Additionally, there were fires burning in about 3 or 4 houses, and I had no choice but to park my car on a nearby road and walk. Finally, I arrived home, but my leather shoes were covered with mud. It seems that about the middle of tsunami water entered inside the house as well, and the inside of the house was a mess, with furniture knocked over and scattered everywhere. That night, I evacuated to my relative's house in the mountains nearby. But the fire was still burning. The road in front of the house was filled with debris approximately 3 to 5 meters high. The distance from my relative's house to my home is about 10 minutes. My house was safe, but the smell from the fire still lingered. When walking around the neighborhood, the areas affected by the waves had collapsed houses, and there were places where cars were on top of the houses. As I moved from the downstream to the midstream of the river, there were also places where cars were stuck. At that moment, I truly realized the terrifying power of nature. In the evening, the television reported that TEPCO had experienced a nuclear power plant explosion. I became worried about whether I had been exposed to radiation from the nuclear accident. For the first time, I learned what happened through my father's story. Then the anxiety caused by invisible radiation must have been significant. Unfortunately, the damage from false rumors and misinformation has not disappeared. Because of the disaster, I'm here now and able to have this valuable experience. I want to pass on these kinds of experience not only within Japan, but also to the world. I hope that this speech will spark interest in Fukushima and Japan. Thank you for listening.
このまま質疑応答する予定でしたけど、この会場が11時から給食の時間になるので、ちょっと一旦向こうのテーブルとか椅子をすっと戻して、子供たちがテーブル食べれるようにちょっと後ろずっと行こうかな。質疑応答はその後にします。
Okay, eigentlich wäre jetzt noch eine Frage-Antwort-Zeit gewesen, aber jetzt fängt schon das Mittagessen an, deswegen räumen wir jetzt schnell die Tische und Stühle zurück und ihr könnt essen und wir können gerne noch Fragen stellen wollen. Dankeschön.
あと、このみんながスピーチしたやつを YouTube で見ることができるので、ぜひホームページからアクセスしてください。
Reden kann man aber auf YouTube sehen, wer das möchte, muss dann die
帰るってこと
録画されてるの？
ライブだったの？
そう、ライブ。3人しか見てない。
とことんの話全部聞こえてたって。
そうそう。誰もこれ。ゆうちゃん。
Was geht, Jalla? Was geht, Jalla?
Kleines Stück ab.
we presentation. Yeah, yeah. Presentation. So